10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I got miles up ahead, and nothing but my thoughts. The radio's gone now.
Hi and welcome to Dax Chats for another episode, and with this episode we have an amazing individual. She has been a Golden Guitar nominee back in 2017 alongside Warren H. Williams. She has started releasing songs for her solo EP, her first one being Stepping Stones, and then the second being an REO Speedwagon classic. And now she's just come out with a new song called Outback Lullaby. But not only that, she is the queen of country music info entertainment right now with her 2 shows on Facebook. We're going to talk to her right now. Dax Chats today with Dani Young. Hey, Dani,
Dax,
how are you?
thanks for having me on the show.
No problem, not a problem at all. Now, as I said, you have totally transformed the way people think in this pandemic. You've done so brilliantly. Like, for everybody that I know, you know, obviously all the artists have gone live and done live stream shows and stuff like that. But you thought out of the box, and you thought, what can bring the people in? And you've done 2 shows. One which is a game show called Celebrity Country Music Whiz. Where did that come from?
Well, I have always been a huge fan of Spicks and Specks and Rock Whiz. Growing up, I used to always like play along at home, pretend I was a contestant. I always dreamed I could go on the show one day. So about a year ago, I had this idea that I wanted to put on a country music game show at the Tamworth Country Music Festival. And I actually did that in January. I surprised myself with how many people were keen on the idea and turned up on the night. Many more people than I was expecting. And since then, when the pandemic struck, I was just thinking, I mean, every night of the week, at the very start, every night of the week, there were about 10 different artists doing a 3-4 hour live stream show of every song they know into an iPhone. I just thought, if I just do the same as everyone else, I'm just going to blend into the crowd. And suddenly I got the idea of, can I make this game show go online? And how would I make that work? And as soon as I figured out the technology, I just started rolling it out every week. And it's been going for probably 3-4 months now. Every single week had an episode of Celebrity Country Music Quiz with artists, radio hosts, music industry people all coming on. But the best bit is they compete against our audience members because they can sign in too and be on the scoreboard. And I think at this point, the audience members have been playing along like every week for, 15, 20 weeks. So now it's getting really hard for the artists to beat our audience at home because they're switched on and they know what they're doing.
That is true. That is true. I did the first episode of your second series with you with the home people, and they were damn good. They were damn good.
Yeah. It's been a really interesting journey for me as well because I'm someone that came to country music a little later in my career. As with actually a lot of the younger generation of country artists, we didn't all necessarily grow up listening to country music. It's something we've come across sort of later in life. And later in life, I mean, we're still young. But by doing this show, like I'm researching, 25 questions every week for 3 or 4 months. I now know a lot about country music, so this has been great for my country music education as well.
And that showed last week when you were the number 1 person for the country kickback takeover.
Yeah, I thought it would be, well, look, I was really just looking forward to having a week off, having to research all the questions. And so when Country Kickback wanted to do a takeover, I thought, maybe I'll just play and see how good I can go. I actually really didn't think I would go that well, but they just happened to pick questions that I knew all the answers to, that I'd stumbled across in my own research for quiz questions for the show. So it worked out in my favor last week.
Is there still a we had a question last week about how many golden guitars Slim Dusty had won. Is there still a bone of contention about that question? Because there seemed to be a lot of even in the audience, because I was there, obviously, I was playing along, and a lot of the fans at home were actually typing in, "No, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong." What happened with that?
Look, I also personally disagreed with the answer to this question. The question was, how many golden guitars did Slim Dusty win? And I thought, I know this 100% because famously in January this year, Lee equaled his tally of 38 golden guitars. And yet, when you go to Slim Dusty's Wikipedia page, it says 45, and you go through them all, and one of them is a Roll of Renown inductee, so that doesn't really count. But there's 44 other ones that are listed that look legitimate. And I'm like, but hang on, the Country Music Association of Australia that gives out the Golden Guitar Awards, their official tally says 38.
38.
So I asked around a few people in the industry, like, can you confirm for me which one is correct? Most people were leaning towards the 38, but I don't know. Maybe I'll have to go to the Slim Dusty Museum and check it out. I'll call up Joy and ask her.
Yeah, that was a very strange question, and I was the same. I was like 38, bang, because I knew that Lee Kernighan had got it. I was pretty quick on the button with that one, and I was like,
me too.
And I was like, what the? But this is one thing that you've been doing for the last, now it's the second season, that has kept people entertained throughout this pandemic, and it's and as you say, it is going against what everybody else is doing, because everybody else is in the live space, everybody else is performing shows and stuff like that, and trying to keep their audience involved. You've switched it around and tried to keep your audience involved in a different way, and in a way that's entertaining and captures other people in as well. And that's just the Celebrity Country Music Wiz. Not to mention, you have gone and done this midday muster show, which is now on a Sunday now, right?
Yep. So I've got two shows every single week. One's the Celebrity Country Music Wiz on Wednesdays now, and the Midday Muster is on Sundays now at midday, as you might guess. And the Midday Muster really came from maybe 1 or 2 weeks into Celebrity Country Music Wiz. Bruce Mott from InView TV, which I believe was previously called Project TV or Planet TV, approached me and said, I've got this TV platform. I've got, I'm hooked up with OVO Mobile, and, we've got YouTube streaming and stuff. Do you want to host a country music show? And I thought, well, I can't say no to an opportunity. So I kind of thought up, what kind of a show would I want? How's the format going to be? And I've worked in television for, probably 6 or 7 years now as my day job besides music. And so I had, the fancy TV format, but it is ultimately just me running the show, producing it and hosting. And I put together all of the video packages and all of the content. So that's slowly been evolving. And what I really realized doing the Midday Muster compared to Celebrity Country Music Wiz, Celebrity Country Music Wiz was still is, all about the fan engagement and all about, fans first. It's revolving around what's going to be interesting for them. So I've kind of used that to adapt the Midday Muster format. And as of about 3 weeks ago, I've changed the Midday Muster format to now be, we still do an interview with a new artist. We still have a live performance of their new song. We still have a news roundup, but we're now also introducing a live songwriting component where I'm directly asking the audience, okay, give me the next line, or give me a word to inspire the next line. And with the audience through the comments section, we now write a song in about 15 minutes. And it's so interesting how like one show has inspired an element of the other show now. But what I've discovered during this time is that the fan engagement has to come first. And I think that can be missing with a lot of live streams that other people are doing.
Correct. And now, a question I have about, obviously, I've been watching the shows and I've been participating in the comments as well because
You've given some great lines for the songwriting too.
I helped write some lines for the Renee Jonas Dani Young collaboration, and I threw in a couple of lines yesterday for the Matt Ward show as well.
Yep, and you're wondering when your royalty check will arrive, I'm assuming.
No. Obviously that could be an issue, but moving forward. But what I would be looking at is more because you're interacting with these audiences. What are you going to do with those songs? Are they going to come out in some sort of format? Are you going to do a midday muster show? Compilation of the songs that you've written, and are the people that added to the song going to be added as writers of the song?
Well, you've certainly got much further ahead than I have. Writing a song live on a live stream is something that has been in the back of my mind for a long time that I've been wanting to do. But of course, that question of, if people are throwing words at you, who gets a songwriting credit? Is it just if you use a line that they've written down, or even if you don't use their line, have they still contributed in some way? Or does every person who viewed the live stream live get a songwriting credit? And that's a really tricky situation that I'm going to have to deal with. Ultimately, I don't really know what the future holds. I'm playing by ear. I don't expect at this rate that any of these songs will be, winning golden guitars. We have to split 600 ways. But you never know. If a real gem comes out of it, I, of course, want to give everyone due credit where it's, where people have contributed. I definitely want to include people as the songwriting credits. But whether I record an album of these songs or not, I don't know. I think we're just going to have to see how it goes. I can't make decisions too early. It's been, I think, 3 weeks of writing songs, maybe 3 or 4 weeks. And I guess we'll just see. Whatever the audience demands is probably what's going to happen.
So after the show, usually you've managed to do a verse, a pre-chorus, and a chorus before the show actually ends. In most cases, you actually haven't finished the song off. So, do you then go back with that artist and complete that song?
Well, so I think I've written 4 so far. 2 of them have been just by myself, and 2 of them have been with other artists. Renee Jonas and Matt Ward this week. And both of them have said to me afterwards, I want to get together and I want to finish this song. So we haven't done that yet, but I think we should. I mean, if the interest is there, then 100% happy to schedule in another Zoom call and we can finish the song off and maybe do a little, at-home recording of the song or whatever it is we decide to do with it.
Yeah, for sure. Now, let's get on to your music because you're also an artist yourself. You've been obviously you've been a Golden Guitar nominee already back in 2017 with Warren H. Williams. How did you feel about that, breaking into a country scene and immediately bang, Golden Guitar nomination? Like, wow.
Yeah, it's a very privileged position to be in, and I very much that I wouldn't have got there on my own at all. I'm someone that's, by luck of the draw, by taking a risk, packing up, moving to outback Australia, and following some crazy guy saying you should do country music, let's go to Nashville. By doing that and saying yes to opportunities, I've had some really great opportunities come along, and I have got to do an album in Nashville, come back, sign a record label, record deal, get a Golden Guitar nomination, go on touring, playing big festivals that, now that I'm solo, I'm struggling to get back on those big festivals, but that's the reality of.
Yeah, I mean, that was going to be the next thing. That was going to be the next. That was going to be the next question. Going from being a signed artist and doing that with Warren H. Williams to now being an independent artist and trying to get the gigs and trying to get the momentum again. What's that like?
It's kind of interesting because I'm so privileged that I've come into the industry with a bit of a platform, with the help of, Warren, and I've really been able to get a great understanding of how it works. What are the people I need to be connected with? How do I actually put out a single, or how do I book a tour? And so I've been really lucky to be able to see that from, a higher level because of working with Warren. And now that I'm very much building myself from the ground up. I'm doing it all completely independently at the moment, which is, a nightmare and a dream at the same time. I love having control over everything, and being able to make all my own decisions and not have to run everything past everyone else. But it is a lot of hard work as well. And I do often wish, oh man, I wish someone was helping me out. I wish I had a manager, I wish I had an agent, but making the most of it. And it is, you can look at it from a perspective of like, oh, have I gone backwards now that I can't get those big gigs that I was doing before? But I'm looking at it from a perspective of like, I'm now, I've had this amazing opportunity to see how it works at the higher level. And now I have to build myself up with my own fan base, making my own sound, and I'm putting my own stamp on everything. And I'm in such a lucky position that I know what it takes to get back there, and I can feel myself, making progress. Even during this COVID time, I had to cancel halfway through a tour. I was touring with Angela Eastman, and we had to cancel South Australia and, festivals and different things. But I feel like by doing all this stuff online, running Celebrity Country Music Quiz, Midday Muster, self-releasing some songs, creating my own music videos as well during isolation, I do feel like I'm making progress. Whereas I feel a lot of artists are kind of waiting for this to blow over. And I think that's never the right approach. You should always be trying to move forward and make some strides.
I agree, and I don't think this is going to blow over because, I'm obviously in the heartland of where it all started, in China, and yesterday on the news, the Wuhan, where it started from, has got it back. So it's not over. It's not over. I don't think it will ever be over. I think this is just another one of those viruses that will be around for years to come, and I don't think there'll be a miracle cure. So I think we are looking at a new normal, and we are looking at, we have to change the way we do things, which is very scary in itself, but, you've taken on challenges and you've excelled at showing that you can do things on your own. And as you say, your new single, you released completely on your own. You didn't use publicists, you didn't use a record company, you didn't use anything. You just went out and I'm going to throw it out and see what happens. Now I call this track Dreamscape Country. This is a beautiful track, and it actually takes you on a journey. Now, I want to show you something because this is part of the experience. This is from YouTube, so you will get paid for it. Don't worry. So I'm going to bring this in here, and you did this completely on your own. You won't hear it because otherwise, but just talk us through this video clip.
Well, the idea always was, you're in isolation, all you can do is use a green screen like this. But I thought, people are pretty smart. They know what's a green screen. I'm not fooling anyone. So part of the whole narrative was going to be that you see me walk into the studio, sit down with the green screen, and then at the end of the clip, we pull back to the green screen and you see the camera and the lights, and it's like, I might have tricked you for a second, you might have forgotten and come on this journey with me, but we're still in this green screen studio, which I was very lucky to have access to. But I thought, we're so isolated at the moment, and from our fans as well, we're not able to go on tour, we're not able to go and see people in person. And I wanted to make it feel like we were still a community and still doing something together with my fans. So I made this a fan collaboration. And I put a big call out there and said, have you been on holidays around Australia? Have you got some great footage from the outback? If you send it in to me, we're going to make this film clip together. And I just love how this turned out, because it turned out better than I was expecting, to be honest. I thought if I'm making this myself, it's going to look pretty homemade and a bit crap. But I got this amazing footage sent in, and I really feel like we've created this virtual dreamlike tour of Australia where we're all going on each other's holidays. So it's this thing that I've created with my fans, and it's something I'm always going to remember. It's just this beautiful thing that I couldn't have made on my own, but I made it through collaboration, through isolation.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. I tell you what, it is, and as I say, it is what I call dreamscape country, because it actually takes you on a journey, and the video clip takes you into that journey. That, I mean, when I first heard the song without the video clip, I was like, this is impressive. This is really taking you out there on some sort of dreamtime journey, you know. And then the film clip, how you've got all these people to bring in video clips together and stuff like that, and you've put it all together, and it looks really good. And it does, takes you on a journey around Australia. And I did see Angela Eason in there.
Yeah, that was a little clip of me and Angela in the car while we were on tour, right before we got shut down by, ScoMo restrictions.
Yes, ScoMo. Oh, I like that, ScoMo restrictions. All right. What was the other one? Corona coaster. That's what I heard the other day from Katie from Scarlet's Way. She called it a Corona coaster.
Oh, okay. I guess that makes sense. It has been a bit of a roller coaster, especially for musicians, because we seem to be some of the hardest affected, field in terms of jobs, because we can't work unless the pubs can open up, but they have to open up at like full capacity and be turning money around for them to be able to pay us. And there are some that are asking musicians to work for free or for lower rates, which I say, no, do not do that. But
yes.
I mean,
or for beer and lunch. Yes, I know.
Yeah, and even opening up a little bit. Say you want to, do a tour with ticketed shows, which is, by the restrictions, you can do ticketed shows and space everyone apart, but you can only sell a certain number of tickets within that space. So suddenly we're much more limited, and it's just so much harder. I mean, you can't even cross borders at this point. And if you book something in, you don't know if the borders will be open by the time that comes around. So it's been it has been a roller coaster of uncertainty, especially for musicians. And it could be a long time before we're, getting paid again. And I'm quite worried that a lot of musicians might give up. And I really hope they don't. I know the internet is a scary place, and adapting your entire business model to work online is a huge effort, and it's a scary thing to do. It's a big risk to take. It's been a kick up the butt for me to do it, but I would just hate to see so many people throwing in the towel and going, you know what, maybe this should just be a hobby, or maybe I'll go get a real job type of thing, a real job.
Well, there's a couple of already done it. Obviously I spoke to Neely Rich. I spoke to Matthew from Neely Rich, and he's gone and got a 9-to-5 job because he doesn't know what's happening next. Nobody knows what's happening next, and it has become a bit of a problem. You've obviously worked the space into your favour with what you've done with the country Midday Muster and the Celebrity Country Music Whiz, but that doesn't go far for your individual music. So you've still got to get out there and create some space for your individual music.
So what I'm really trying to do with these shows, as well as, they're fantastic concepts, and I'm particularly with Celebrity Country Music Whiz, I can just envision this as like a live touring show someday that, we could go to a Brisbane venue, a Sydney venue, a Melbourne venue, and pack it out and do a live version of the show. But right now, my online shows aren't really monetizable so much. I'm very lucky to have, some fans that are donating each week, throwing something in the tip jar or sponsoring the show, which is really awesome. but, it's not gonna replace a full-time income at this
No,
point,
that's right.
and it could be a long time before I do that. But what I am hoping with these shows is that I'm building some brand awareness, like, for me as a brand, like, more people are learning who Dani Young is, and people that
Yep.
don't necessarily didn't hear my music before or hadn't heard of me before might discover me through these shows as well. I, of course, do lots of cross promotion on the shows and say, "Hey, my new single's out. Here's the link."
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, it's investing in myself, and hopefully there'll be some, long-term payoff. At the very least, I hope a few more people will say hi to me when I walk down the street at Tamworth.
Oh, certainly. I'm sure there's many, many, many people that know you now. You are the face of country music everywhere in Australia and probably around the world, but because you're on Facebook. So, that's it. You are the most noticeable person in country music on Facebook right now.
Oh, well, I'm gonna write that down and put it on a poster. Dax Daniel said that I'm wonderful.
You are wonderful. I mean, obviously, Beck Gracie put out a question the other day, and I didn't mention you. I actually mentioned Brandy's Kitchen because I thought that was very entertaining. But many people had said this celebrity country music was the midday muster, everything that you have done. Beck Gracie got swamped with people saying your name.
That surprised me too, and I promise I did not send them over there. I just discovered it when all these people were tagging me. I hadn't even seen Beck's post, and I'm like, what is this that everyone's tagging me? And I'm like, oh wow, this feels really validating that the shows are meaningful to people.
But it is. I mean, that's why we say you are the most noticeable person in country music on the internet right now.
Well, look, I'm just hoping that they introduce a new golden guitar category for best country music live stream, and then I hope Celebrity Country Music Quiz gets a nomination.
Correct.
And I could be 2 nominations against myself.
Now, before we go, you have Damien Leith producing your new works. What's in the pipeline for Dani Young?
Well, I have been releasing singles from this new EP. It's interesting because I recorded this a little while ago when I first met Damien Leith. We actually wrote Outback Lullaby together on our very first meeting, one-on-one meeting in his studio, and it kind of expanded from there. So we wrote Outback Lullaby together. Then we started recording, like demoing it. And then I was like, you should just produce this. And then I took him a few more songs and he started producing a few more tracks. And I eventually ended up with an EP of 5 tracks. And since then, I've sort of kept adding to it. And it's now looking at about 8 tracks, which I think classifies.
So that's an album. That's an album, yes.
Yeah,
that's an LP.
I don't know how I feel about calling 8 tracks an album, but I know technically that is an album. So, but we are we're in a digital age. Everything's all about streaming and Spotify, even though there's really not much money in streaming unless you hit the jackpot. How things work in this online world is that it works in your favor to release everything as singles rather than release, 10 songs all in one go. And I definitely agree with that because when you release a single, even when I'm doing it myself, I send out a press release. I do a bunch of interviews, get some publicity, get the plays on the radio. And if I do that, rinse and repeat for 8 songs, that's going to work out more beneficial to me than releasing one song and then the whole album, because the whole album counts as one opportunity with media. So
that's that's your other problem with streaming as well. If you release a whole album, you cannot then release a single off the album and a single off the album because that you've already because the whole album's now on the streaming platforms. Releasing single by single and doing 4 or 5 singles, and then maybe the last 3 songs you didn't want to release as a single, so then you throw the whole album out there. That's fine.
Yeah, so I'm getting creative with that. I'm coming up with the full plan at the moment of the dates of every single song and when I'll put it out. But it's very interesting how the streaming world has redefined how artists release music, and
Mm,
it's not to say that we make more or less money. Some people are making good money from streaming. A lot of entry level, like smaller musicians, are not making any money because no one's buying CDs. But it's a new world, and you have to adapt. And you know, it's very easy to get angry at the way things are, but ultimately that doesn't solve anything. So all you can do is do your best to adapt and thrive in your current environment.
correct. Well, Dani Young, thank you very much for your time today. As I said on my appreciation post, you are very well respected by me. You have done an amazing job, and you have really shown in this time that you are connecting with the fans in original ways.
Thank you very much. And when I did see that appreciation post you put up, I put a huge smile on my face. I was not at all expecting anything like that, but it's yeah. I mean, obviously, I don't do it for the likes and stuff, but it is really nice to hear that, because it's hard work. It is really nice to hear when people do appreciate your hard work, and
Mm,
that you are, reaching people. I think it's a dangerous time in terms of, if you just like go into hibernation, you're gonna lose that connection with people. And I
correct.
just really want to make sure I'm reaching out to people, and especially for country music, that we just keep feeling like a community, because that's the beauty of country music. We go to
Mm,
festival, we all hang out together, and we just feel like one big family, like fans,
mm,
artists alike. We all just feel like one big community. And social
mm.
distancing is like the enemy of that. So we need
Correct.
to make sure that we're still connecting, and we're still feeling that excitement and having a laugh together, so that when we are able to do things in real life again, that
Mm.
we pick up like an old friendship, like nothing ever happened. And yeah.
Well, until we speak again, I'm going to give you a shoulder bump. There you go, an elbow bump. It's been great talking to you today, Dani. Thank you very much for your time, and you keep doing a wonderful job. And I'm sure I'll see you. I'm sure I'll see you online on Wednesday night.
Oh, thank you very much for having me again today. And I expect to see some good song lyric suggestions from you on my next episode of the Midday Muster, because I am thinking of introducing a prize for the best
Mm.
lyric contribution. So I think you could be winning a few of those. You never know.
Oh my goodness! All right, I like that. All right. Well, thank you very much again. You have a great day. You have a great evening. There you go.
All right. See ya.
All right. See ya. That was Dani Young. She is the host of Celebrity Country Music Whiz, and she is also the host of the Midday Muster. Celebrity Country Music Whiz is live on Facebook on Wednesday nights, and the Midday Muster is live on Facebook on Sundays, of course, at midday Australian Eastern Standard Time. Her brand new track, Outback Lullaby, is available on all streaming platforms, or you can listen to it on the Country Thunder Network, and you can vote for it on the Country Thunder 20. Until next time, this is DJ Dax signing out for Dax Chats, proudly supported by Neon Horse in Stanhope, Victoria. Until next time, bye for now.